Hey everybody out there in the YO universe, this is Survivor 2002 coming at you again from the Secret Lair in Virginia, and it's another recap of yet another performance night on So You Think You Can Dance. It might seem a little redundant that I'm repeating all the information that you can find on the side of your screen there when you're reading down exactly who did what and who created what, but I understand that a lot of people out there probably don't have time to watch, or you might not want to see my ugly mug anyway, so you can keep this turned on just as audio wallpaper to sort of catch up on just the details, just the facts for what happened last night, that's all good too. So I will just continue to read off the listings and then to give my little critiques of each couple as we move along. And since YouTube only gives me 10 minutes, I might as well launch right into it and tell you exactly what happened last night. First couple was KAYLA and Jonathan doing a Dave Scott hip hop number to By My Side by Jadakiss featuring Neo. Number two was VITOLIO and ASUKA doing a MANDY MOORE jazz piece to Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar. Yes. Number three was Ade and Melissa doing a Tony Meredith Rhumba to Emotion by Destiny's Child. Number four was JANETTE and Brandon doing yet again another Dave Scott hip hop piece to What a World by Common. Fifth was KAYLA and KUPONO to a JEAN-MARC and France Genereux Viennese Waltz to Sweet Dreams for You by Jewel. Sixth was one of our favorite couples, Randi and Evan, and lucky them, they drew Mia Michaels doing a contemporary piece to Coop Island Blues by Coop featuring Anne Brunn. Number seven was Caitlin and Jason doing another Team Genereux piece, this time a Paso Doble, to O Fortuna from Carmina Burana. And wrapping it up was Janine and Phillip doing Moses from Singing in the Rain. And this was a Tice DiOrio Broadway number, naturally. Okay, so getting right into the critiques here. KARLA and Jonathan. This hip hop was supposed to be somewat of a gangsta number. It was supposed to have that street edge and grit, as Toni, Basil was saying. And this is probably about as gangsta as a bowl of cream of wheat, mostly because KARLA, I think, had it nailed down pretty much. But Jonathan, I hate to judge a book by its cover, but Jonathan's just too pretty. And he's just too smiley and too bubbly. He couldn't really get down and dirty with the way it was supposed to be done. And that's why the piece didn't really come out the way it was supposed to. So unfortunately, I think KARLA and Jonathan are our first couple in trouble. Second was VITOLIO and ASUKA again with doing Heartbreaker from Pat Benatar. It was sort of a jazz rock piece. And even though, like the judges said, they've really grown as a couple, the number they did last week, which was absolutely breathtaking, that didn't translate this week. There was just too much of a problem as far as synchronization went. So unfortunately, I think they're going to be number two couple in trouble. Ade and Melissa, I think that was probably one of the best, worst puns of the season when Nigel came off with the "what a difference a day makes." That's painful even repeating that. But Ade, out of all the guys in the competition, I think is the most powerfully built and the most capable when it comes to partnering, and he was really there for Melissa. I think they're overall, next to Evan and Randi, are probably the couple to watch. JANETTE and Brandon, I think Brandon pretty much nailed it. He doesn't have Phillip's moves when it comes to popping and locking, but he pulled it off pretty well considering what his style is. And JANETTE, same thing. I think once again, the girls overall proved to be a real powerful force to be reckoned with, and all the guys, with the possible exceptions of Evan and Ade, have really got to start stepping it up if they don't want to find themselves booted out. KAYLA and KUPONO. This was a shock, because here we have a brand new partnership because of the elimination of Max and Ashley last week, and I was thinking, okay, KUPONO, I don't know if he has the ability to step it up this week. Actually, he did. That was kind of shocking. Doing the Viennese waltz, especially with without the right footwear, can be a real challenge, and I think they tackled it pretty well. So they definitely get kudos and pluses for that. But I don't think that they're going to have any problem this week. Now, KUPONO definitely needs to maintain this quality next week, but we'll see what happens, especially with the voting tonight. Randi and Evan with that very interesting Mia Michaels number. Now, if I didn't know any better, I would say that there's a little hanky-panky spanky going on, especially the spanky part, since this piece happened to feature Randi's butt pretty prominently. Yeah, Randi and Evan, the South of France thing with him being the older guy and her being the younger girl with the very curvaceous and enticing figure, bought the whole thing. Turned out perfectly, and for Mia Michaels to have done something that simple was pretty shocking, because usually she's turned people into human pretzels and crap like that. Not this time, so kudos to her for not letting her hormones or whatever it is get the best of her when it comes to choreography this time, and keeping it in a framework that Evan and Randi could actually deal with. Bravo, or should I say brava. Caitlin and Jason, first of all, O Fortuna. This is a track that I think a moratorium should be leveled against it in Hollywood, so that it's never used in another freaking trailer, promotional ad, or whatever again. Because every single time there's an action movie, this is the damn song you hear every time. And it didn't help also that their costumes look like they were cast-offs from the wardrobe they used for Caligula. Yeah, that wasn't helping either. But I've seen better Pasos in my day between Dance with the Stars and this show, and this one just wasn't cutting it. For one thing, Jason was not keeping that stature like they said. His chest was not up and it wasn't out. I think that either VITOLIO or Ade could have definitely pulled this off because of the way they carry themselves, and also because of their physicality anyway. But yeah, I think that the Genereux did a good job with the choreography. Not so much Jason. Caitlin did a damn good job keeping that tradition going of the girls being more strong than the boys this particular season, I think. So Caitlin and Jason as a couple may probably be the third ones in trouble tonight. And last but not least, for Janine and Phillip, the whole couch thing, the feathers, which were a little distracting, were still pretty good. And I think Phillip really stepped it up, especially with the couch jump. Oh my freaking God. Is it any wonder he split his pants making that jump? He pulled that off pretty well. And considering that it's a Broadway number, you have to keep that energy up, 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 I think he did a surprisingly good job. But because they like him so much, the judges are going to be a lot harder on him than anybody else, especially getting him out of that comfort zone of popping and locking and doing the street dancing that he so loves to do. And he's going to have to bring more of his confidence, more of his personality, more everything into every number he does now. But to sum it up again, KARLA and Jonathan, VITOLIO and ASUKA, and Caitlin and Jason I'm predicting are going to be the three couples in the most trouble this week. Now, as far as the guy and the girl going home, that's a tough one to call, but I'm going to say Jonathan. The girl going home, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with ASUKA because she's beautiful, but she's just so extremely limited in what she can bring to a number if it's not a ballroom number. So they may have to look at her growth arc from Hell Week all the way into this particular performance week. And if they do, I'm afraid they're not going to see as much growth as they have from other performers. But only the votes will tell. And with that, that sums up another performance night. So until next week, take care. Hope you all have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.